welcome Joann Woodrops.
My grandmother, Anna Woodrops, arrived to New York City in the summer of 1972. At that time, she was just 39 years old. It was the first time she left her home of the Dominican Republic and had to leave 6 small children behind with family. As a mom, I could not imagine having to leave my kids for such a long period of time. But I understood she did what she needed to do to provide herself and her family a better life. She knew she was worthy enough to follow her dreams and manifest her desires. My mother, Anna Woodrops, yes, they have the same exact name. She also arrived to New York City in the winter of 1983. She was just 27 years old. She had to make the same decision her mother made a few years back and had to leave her only son behind with his dad. When my mom first arrived, she was met with so much snow. She would tell me, cuando yo llegué a Nueva York, había tanta nieve que me llegaba hasta aquí. I'll translate. When she first arrived to New York City, she was met with so much snow, the snow was up to here. And she's 5'3". So it is possible that that story is true. But she knew she was worthy enough to follow her dreams and manifest her desires. What both my mom and my grandmother had in common is that they both manifested a better life for themselves. They knew that by leaving their home of the Dominican Republic, it would not only benefit them, but it would benefit their children and the generation to come. So as a young girl, I knew I was able to manifest a great life for myself, and I was worthy enough to follow my dreams and manifest my desires. Well, I'm sure you have heard me say the word manifest a few times. That's my topic for today, the art of manifestation. I found this great quote online that summarizes manifestation, and it goes as follows. You cannot manifest things that are out of your control. Manifesting is about becoming empowered and full of self-belief that you make things happen. Throughout my life, I always knew I was able to obtain anything I put my mind into, but I just had to make sure that I put in the work and have a game plan. One of the priorities always spoke in my household was education. Education was a priority. I didn't have a blueprint to follow, so I had to create my own game plan. I worked really hard in school, got good grades, and I was actually top 11 in my high school class. I ended up going to a state university not too far from home, and then I became the first in my family to graduate with my Bachelor's of Science in Finance and minor in Black Studies. It was one of the proudest moments for myself and for my family. Well, as I mentioned earlier, with manifestation comes a lot of work, and I had to put a lot to get to where I am today. After graduation, I was a life insurance agent, an inbound sales representative for a cable company, and an assistant manager at an optical store. During that journey, I became a first-time mom, and I had my son, Daniel. Daniel was my priority at the time, and I wanted to make sure I could provide him and myself a better life financially. After I had Daniel, 2 years later, I got pregnant with my daughter, Olivia. And it was at that moment I decided to apply to grad school. I attended my first class a month and a day after giving birth to my daughter. And for 2 years, my hat I wore the hat of a full-time mom, a grad student, and a full-time employee. I worked 9 to 5. I came home and fed, washed, played with my children, put them to bed, and hopefully for 2 hours after that, I would study my notes and review for my next class. But manifestation and wanting the best for my family is what got me motivated. Then I became the first in my family to graduate with my master's. And I would have to say, and I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. I would have to say this is the proudest moment for me because my babies got to see me walk the stage. Well, now with 2 degrees under my belt, I felt unstoppable. I applied to jobs, I thought I would get hired, and unfortunately it didn't go that way. So I did what any millennial would do. I went to Facebook. I asked my family and friends, do you know anyone that is hiring? I got a call a few days after, and a friend at the time let me know that there was a company in her management building looking for an administrative assistant. She sent me the job description, and it was for a wealth management company. I sent in my resume and cover letter, and within a few weeks, I was hired. Well, that company is my current employer, Wall Street Alliance Group. Wall Street Alliance Group gave this Afro-Latina woman an opportunity to be part of an industry where 15% of employees are women, and less than 15%, 5 are women of color. I get to work with a great and diverse team, which is what makes our company stand out. Wall Street Alliance Group was founded by 2 principals who, like my mother and grandmother, came to this country and manifested their dreams. Then used their personal, cultural background and were able to create a team of different genders and different cultures. I came into the industry with no experience and only the knowledge that I learned in undergrad. Now, 7 years later, I am the Senior Client Service Associate. And I'm able to, thank you. I'm able to build personal relationship with our clients by providing support for their accounts. Also, I'm more knowledgeable in the industry, and I'm able to provide that information to our clients, as well as people in my community. Well, with manifestation, it works differently for everybody, but I have 3 simple steps I go by. Anything is possible if you see it first. I like to think and dream big, but I like to be realistic as well. I don't manifest winning the lottery, but I do manifest making a certain amount of money that's comfortable for me and my children. Write it down and always keep it in the eyes view. I like to break down my manifestations in 4 categories: personal, health, wealth, and career. I like to give each of my manifestations an end date. I also create a vision board to go along with my list. And I keep it next to my mirror, so I'm able to see it on a day-to-day basis. As you grow, so does your manifestations. As we get older, priority changes. So does your manifestations. It is always important to change your manifestations, review it, and remove it. It is always important to change your manifestations. You can review it and remove it if needed. Well, I'm sure you guys are asking yourself this question: what is Joann manifesting now? I'm always working on manifestations, but these are the 3 biggest ones that I'm working on so far. I'm working on my first children's book about I'm working on my first book. I didn't learn about finance until I was in college. And I feel like finance is such an important topic for everyone to learn. It especially a topic that is not taught in my community, and I feel like kids should learn about it at a younger age because it will be a benefit for them as they become adults. Well, I always wanted to own a home. I want to give my kids the opportunity to have their own space, to run around, and yeah, I want to become a homeowner. And as I mentioned, I love what I do. And I know that if I'm able to get licensed, I can do more for our clientele. So at this current moment, I'm actually studying for my Series 7. Okay, so why the title, The Rose That Grew from Concrete? Well, the rose symbolizes me and women with similar stories like myself. I manifested a good life for myself. I didn't allow my environment to determine who I am. According to society, I should have been a teenage mom with limited education, working paycheck to paycheck. But with manifestation, I am an educated Black woman who is succeeding and going straight to the top. But just like my amazing grandmother and beautiful mother had always told me, and what I tell my children, you are worthy enough to follow your dreams and manifest your desires. And does anyone still don't believe in manifestation? I know I do, because this moment right here is an example of manifestation.